So the title of my story is Meet My Friends. To all of you, it might seem that I'm standing here right alone, but actually, there are a few friends of mine standing right behind me. You probably can't see them. Actually, I can't see them either. I'm not hallucinating. But there are a few of my friends. So, just a disclaimer: these friends, well, we all have these few friends that we absolutely hate. We would do anything to get rid of them. Then we know them for such a long time. We also don't know now how to get rid of them. So I just start introducing them, because I can see them. So this first friend, the time I met him was when I was about a year old. Urvashi, lying in my mother's lap, will not go to sleep until she sings me a lullaby. And she sang to me, she made up a lullaby for me in Gujarati, which roughly translated to, my child is the most obedient, my child is the best, my child will always rank #1. And she repeated this again and again. That was the lullaby I went to sleep for a year, for two, for practically till I was 7-8 years old. That is when I felt company of this friend. I did not know his name, but I know there was someone with me. Quite a few years ago, when I was 16, my sports career, if you may call it, I won my first gold medal, a state gold medal. And I happily came home. I showed it to my mother. She smiled, then she looked back at me. Bacha, this is great. How? I think a national level gold medal would be better, huh? And that's when that friend finally introduced himself to me. He tapped on my shoulder. That friend, imposter syndrome. I'll go on introducing my rest of the friends as well. So when I was a child, when we all learned how to write, we learned A, B, C, D, and the idea of putting the pencil down on the paper put shivers down my spine. I just could not. And then again, I felt a tap on my shoulder. And this friend, this graphia, told me, hey, it's okay, don't write, it's okay. You can get away in life without writing, right? My teachers called me dumb, they called me lazy. I was like, yeah, fine, whatever, it's okay. And I got away with it. I'm fine. Till 10th board exams. 10th board exams as a 15-year-old is the most important thing in your life. Nothing more important has ever happened to you or will ever happen. And this is when I told my friend, hey, I know you've reassured me all my life that I can do away without writing, but I think now I can't. Now I need you to get away from my life. I need to write, I need to pass this exam. And like any friend who does not want to leave you, has to create some friendship, relationship drama, he put this partner of theirs in front of me. His name, anxiety. That was the time I had my first panic and I could not handle myself. So the interesting thing about anxiety is that anxiety is polyamorous, has a lot of relationships. So I knew one of the partners before I knew him, again dysgraphia. Another partner happened to me that I never wanted to was PTSD. A very queer story that is that the first time when I held some, I've always felt this when I see someone and this, you feel your heart drop, you feel something, you don't know what it's called. It took me years till I can finally hold someone's hand or get even 1 feet distance of their face, oh my god. But when I finally reached there, anxiety came tapping again on my shoulder. And I was like, hey, what are you doing here? I then realized quite a few years ago, PTSD, another partner. And that final partner that I want to talk about is someone who now lives with me, is my partner as well, 24/7. This is a chance life reality that a lot of us live with. We're born a certain way, and Every time I look at the mirror, I look at myself and I look at him. I look at him there and I can't look at myself anymore. Introducing to you another friend, Dysphoria. So these friends have now been a part of my life for quite some time. The journey to be able to comfortably talk about them here in front of so many people actually comes from another friend who is, I think, played a major important part in my life. Is actually my newest friendship, to be honest, barely 7 years, that's new, I think. After my father passed away and I was lonely, I'm talking here about these imaginary friends. I did have real friends also, okay? Human friends same way. But when something traumatic like that happens to you, you start losing all real people in your life. And that is what I faced. And when I was in the summer, post my father's pass, when he passed away, I was in my room alone. I was lonely. And loneliness introduced me to another friend. I think he is very dangerous. I take him the most serious out of all of these people. That is why I'm explaining it to you. I take him the most seriously. Why? After a fight I had with my then partner, because Dysphoria was there punching me in the face, between that, this friend walks in, holds me by my throat and chokes me, and then leaves. I can't breathe anymore, but then he leaves. But he leaves me with marks on my wrist to tell me that he exists in my life and he does not plan to leave. As a remembrance. That is why I think he is the most dangerous. That is why I think I should take him the most seriously. His name is depression. I've had a 7-year-long relationship with it, which I don't know how long it will remain. I'm not going to value in this anymore. Mental health is something, I know my story has not had anything that is much queer in it, but today and now, after so many years that I've known these friends right behind me, while anxiety is still tapping on my back, saying, hey, I'm here giving you company, hey. I see queerness in that. I see queerness in my mental health. Queerness to me is not just, mental health and queerness is not just when I talk about the anxiety to come out. Queerness and my queerness is my daily life. It's my daily life. From the first friend I met when I was 1 year old to me dealing with it right now. But I'm going to leave you with a much happier note. I'm here in front of you, I'm talking about this. Anxiety tapping on my back and I'm still talking about this. It's been a process, These are friends, as I told you in the beginning, I'm calling them friends. I hate them, I want to get rid of them. I'm trying to. So, the fact that I'm here talking to you, it's been a process to heal. Now I am okay with their presence here. I am able to talk about them. And that is how I plan to further deal with them and get rid of them from my life. So now, rather than putting myself away from all my real friends, I have friends who volunteer to bitch slap me if I listen to them in place of my real friends. So that companionship, that is what is important. So now, here I am talking to you about my mental health in front of 50 odd people. I am comfortable doing that. I am able to get over this constant thought. And I can happily at night at 1 AM when I finally sleep, put on a Pratik Kuhad track and get rid of the friends, at least temporarily. And that I think is the healing. And that I think is these friends who will talk.